then also, in our fast-paced world and society, it's easy to get caught up with instant gratification. Everybody wants something quick, something cheap, right? And we all know what happens when we want something quick and cheap. Usually the quality is poor and short-lived. The things that take time and effort, sometimes money even, are usually the things we enjoy, and they also have better quality and also usually last longer, more sustainable over time.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Healthy Living Wichita podcast with Go Time Training. I'm your host, Raymond Elliott, lead personal trainer at Go Time Training in Northeast Wichita, Kansas. I've been in the fitness industry for over 20 years now, and I've seen it all. This podcast cuts through all the fads and gimmicks to give you a science-based truth on all things fitness and nutrition, so you don't have to try to figure it out on your own. If you want to live happier and healthier and get the scoop on how to work out, eat right, and keep a positive mindset, you're in the right place. It's go time. Now, let's get to the show. All right, we're here, Healthy Living Wichita. Yes, so another wonderful podcast. We got the incredible Caleb Campbell, right?
Yep.
The CC in the house. What's up, buddy? Go ahead and introduce yourself to all our wonderful viewers out there.
Sure. So a few of you have probably seen me before if you watched past couple podcasts.
Of course they have.
Good to be here again. I'm a Go Time trainer here in Wichita, Kansas. Been here for half a year now, almost.
It's been years.
Yeah.
Half a year. Seems like you've been here for a while, though.
Seems like it's been forever.
It's nice. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. It's not like it seems like it's forever because it's bad.
Yeah, it's great. But I'm also an exerciser. I'm a family man, so that means I'm a husband, father, son, brother. I'm also a friend. I'm an employee, like I just said.
Like you.
I'm a former student. I got a lot of degrees, but that doesn't mean I stop learning. I'm always a continuous learner, always trying to learn. And then I'm also a drummer and a music lover. And those are just a few roles of the identity that I play throughout my life. I mean, I could go on to a different few roles, but that's pretty much the gist of who
identities.
I am. Yeah, I just wanted to tie that into our topic.
Right? Yeah. So you're more than just I'm a personal trainer with a degree. You have an entire life, which is where we get that whole work-life balance or life balance, where you have a bunch of different roles that you have to try to be good at in each aspect. Some people have more than others, right? Some with work and marriage and kids and all those different things, plus your own like hobbies, like a drummer. I didn't know you're a drummer.
Yeah.
What's your favorite drummer?
Phil
Collins.
I like Metallica's Lars Ulrich.
Well, it's hard not to. Can you play Metallica?
Some, but a lot of it's
I brought
pretty
drums
hard,
in.
So.
Andrea? No, I'm just kidding. That would be good. That would make the podcast. We could play a little Inner Sandman.
That'd be good.
Actually, I like the Justice for All album the most. But I digress. So kind of going into those things, it's difficult to manage all that stuff without getting burnt out or being able to put emphasis in all those different things. So I know you're kind of the guru when it comes to some of this stuff when we talk about motivation and burnout and continuing, and that's one of your expertise. Can you help out our wonderful viewers out there that struggle through those same aspects?
Sure. Yeah. So the point is, like I was saying, and the reason why I identified all those roles is because, like Raymond said, I'm not specifically just playing one role. I have these multiple identities and roles that I have to use on my daily basis. So I have to balance my energy and the time I spend on each role, so that way I don't just burn out in one single category or one single role. And for each of these roles, I have larger goals that I'm trying to attain through smaller goals. And so identity theory explains that individuals driven by the desire to maintain a consistent sense of self. So in other words, what that means is that people are motivated to do what they do or put forth action so that way they can be identified how they want to be identified.
Right.
They're not going to do something that they don't want to do if they don't want to be identified as that. So the actions we take or the road to get and maintain these identities are the journey to get there, right? The journey to our goals. The journey is the most enjoyable part of life. And we know if we rush through anything, if we rush through that journey to meet our goals, not only does our life tend to pass us by, but we tend to miss out on so much more or even experience setbacks. So, you take exercise, for example. If you hurry through your reps, if you're getting done fast, you may be getting done faster. That may be a good thing. But more than likely, you are sacrificing form possibly range of motion, and possibly even in intensity. So instead
Time
of
under
going
tension.
time under tension, all that
Those
stuff.
fun words.
Yeah. Not to mention that when you move faster, you increase the likelihood for injury, like we've talked about many times. And we know injury only sets you back even more further, not only in exercise, but all your other roles in life as well.
It's hard to drum when you have that bum shoulder right there from going too
Tennis
fast
shoulder.
in your rows.
Yeah.
So slow it down.
Yeah.
I gotta have you up there, Lars.
Yeah. And it's important to take that rhythm. I mean, as a drummer or as a music lover, that's kind of my learning style as well, as I take that kind of tempo and rhythm into my sets or my workout. So that way I'm not pushing to exhaustion all the time, but I'm balancing out that energy and I'm maintaining a proper pace and a proper tempo. So that way I just don't burn out real quick.
Right.
Depending on what I'm doing, of course. But like we talked about, this stuff kind of carries over into our everyday life and the roles we have. So like if we eat fast, we know we have stomach issues or digestive issues. If we work fast, we may miss details that are important at our job. And if we don't take time out to spend with our family, friends, get that social interaction, we might stress out and not have that release like we usually do. So it's important to have that balance in all those different roles and not just put all our time and energy into one single role.
Yeah. So what I got from you is kind of slow down and put some, some time into these things. That way you don't burn out, or like you said, like don't really get to experience them properly or do the proper things through those, that you could actually miss out on some things or cause some conflicts, I guess.
Or even setbacks, like we said.
Or setbacks, yeah. Yeah, setback's probably a better word than conflict.
Either way, they're both problems. So.
Yeah. Problems.
Problems.
You can have problems, right?
Yeah.
And we don't want no problems.
We don't want no problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. And also personality and culture have a huge impact on people's ability to slow down. We know the difference between like type A and type B types personalities.
Yeah.
Some people who are more anxious or highly anxious, or more perfectionist type people. It's hard for them to kind of slow down and just enjoy the moment, enjoy the process. Also with culture, some cultures, they're just driven to work and provide for their family, not really take time to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
So taking that time out, it's not being selfish. It is a little bit, but you have to have that balance. You're going to take care of other people, but you also need to take care of yourself.
Well, we know some people, clients of ours that just burn at both ends, and that's kind of, I feel like it's kind of a cultural thing, and why a lot of the people from that culture is also successful, and we know that it pays having it, and they see it, but it's something very difficult for them to change. I have seen on the opposite end though, some people don't like to go to Jamaica, which I don't know why. It's a beautiful place, but because their culture is actually a little bit slower from what I experienced. So I don't want to, if anybody's Jamaican out there, and I'm not saying the right things, but from my understanding, they even say that kind of like when you go like, hey, relax, we're on island time, things are not going to go as fast. So if you want that like super service, there might be certain resorts that cater that, but the kind of people and cultures chill, which I kind of like. Yeah. But they also do a lot of other things that we won't talk about in Jamaica that probably slows them down a little bit. They have the Jamaica flower there. So, but yeah,
that culture, that environment that you grow up around can play a huge impact on how you live your life as an adult. I mean, like you said, we see in these clients, they burn at both ends of this candle, and then they have problems with their weight management or stress levels because they're doing all this for other people, but they're not taking time to take care of themselves.
It's amazing that how they can identify it, but can't like stop it, which I mean, I guess a lot of times we have problems and issues that we identify and we can't, but it's just amazing. Like they know, like we hear it, like I'm stressed, I'm just doing all this, I'm burnt out. But they don't stop it, which is kind of crazy. But I guess we do that in a lot of different aspects sometimes. So
yeah, it's true. I mean, we've all heard the phrase, take some time to stop and smell the roses, right? Sometimes we have to do that. Even if we're not smelling the roses, just stop, take some time, do some deep breathing like Kelsey talks about, and just get that mindful meditation. Even if it's just a couple deep breaths, it's amazing how much you can slow yourself down just by taking 2 seconds out of your day just to take a couple deep breaths.
I think it's huge. Yeah.
And then also, in our fast-paced world and society, it's easy to get caught up with instant gratification. Everybody wants something quick, something cheap, right? And we all know what happens when we want something quick and cheap. Usually the quality is poor and short-lived.
True.
The things that take time and effort, sometimes money even, are usually the things we enjoy, and they also have better quality and also usually last longer, more sustainable over time. So we take that and we think about food, for instance. If we're eating quick and cheap, usually what does that lead to? Stomach aches, and then also feeling
Poor
guilty.
nutritional values.
Yeah, you're
high calorie dense.
You're getting quick carbs, but you're not getting efficient macros, so you're not getting what you need. And then you kind of feel physiologically you don't feel as good. Psychologically, you don't feel as good.
Dang Taco Bell.
And if we continuously seek out those short-term fixes, then negative long-term effects are going to set in more than likely, like weight gain and chronic disease.
I think we see that a lot for
bigger problems.
People, especially when it comes to like nutrition and exercise. Like everybody wants that quick fix. That's why,
Exactly.
the real truth to like exercise, is going to take a long time. It's a systematic progression. It is a journey, as you kind of said before. Same thing with dieting. It's eating less calories than what you burn, calories in, calories out. It's a time thing. It takes time to learn those things. Those are not really the most sexiest things out there, and why they don't sell. That's why there's always like, do this type of hit heart rate program, or do this type of magical diet because it's going to be super fast and quick, and everybody kind of wants that secret magic, where a lot of times it's just consistency and the good old bread and butter.
Yep.
Good old bread, but don't eat too much of the bread and butter because that's high carbs and fats. But it's those things and taking your time through those. Just people don't want to do it. But I think once they learn, set that as expectation, like you said, enjoy it.
Yeah.
And not like have to have it right then.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, that's why there's all these fads and diets. I mean, people want that quick gratification, but what happens, they don't learn anything from it, and they cycle back to their old habits.
Yep.
Whereas if they just take the time to learn how to eat right, then it becomes more sustainable and doable. It's more realistic.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to train people to do, is not restrict you, because that's just going to make you not want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why most people can't stick to their diets, is because they're restricted. You're telling them not to do something that takes away their free will as a person. Nobody wants that. So
100%. Yeah, I mean, as humans, we're not very good with being told no. They even did that with like children, where they did kind of a basic study where they took a bowl of grapes and a bowl of like, I don't know, jelly beans. I don't remember which one. I wish I would have used grapes, because grapes are bomb. They should have used like broccoli, and then it might have held a little bit more water. But they basically gave them options to eat both. And then gave them the option that where they couldn't eat grapes, they could only eat jelly beans. And none of the kids wanted the jelly beans. They wanted the grapes because they were told not to. It made the things a novelty.
Yeah.
And the same thing, we rebel a little bit. So when you are restricted and told you can't do something, even if it's yourself, when it's a rule. When you empower yourself, like I can, but I get to choose that, then it's a totally different aspect. Right. But when it's like a rule or written law because some guru says it, and some
to go against it.
Yeah, some cherry picked data says that's how it works. Then it's hard to restrict for a long time, and it's hard just to not be normal. I mean, I'm not normal, but it's hard to not do normal eating and those things just by itself.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we take the time to prepare our meals instead of getting that instant gratification going through the drive-through, then it's going to be totally the opposite. We can ensure we're getting enough lean and greens. We can enjoy it more, like we said. It's going to be more enjoyable. It will lead to positive physiological and psychological effects, like we talked about. And then we'll see less of those long-term chronic effects that would usually ensue if we were to keep continuing to eat bad. Well, actually turn into the opposite. You'll see yourself getting healthier, your heart rate getting healthier, your blood pressure getting healthier, all that stuff.
Good things.
Good things.
Right.
Yeah. So what you're saying is we should tell ourselves not to eat fruits and veggies, and then we'll eat more fruits and veggies.
Could be. I guess.
Sometimes it works like that. Reverse psychology.
Sometimes, yeah. I think if somebody else told you, it might have more impact. Sometimes we empower ourselves, even though we are the ones in it. But it's a rule outside of us. Sometimes we make our own rules, and it seems like when we make our own decisions, we're better to do it. But when it's something restricted in another rule, it makes those things novelties, and we see that. We see that a lot about with clean, strict eaters and those aspects where they end up having there's more eating disorders associated with people that try to eat 100% clean or all those different things. They actually end up having more binging and eating disorder problems as a percentage versus people where you just call your average eater or your flexible dieters or whatever, they eat kind of whatever. Right. I'm not saying that's a good strategy either. Right. Yeah. There's got to be some restriction, and there's got to be a calorie restriction. You have to learn how to fit within those, but you get to create those. Right. Here's what we need. Here's the perimeters. You make it how you want to. Is a lot different.
Yeah. And I don't know if you talked to Jennifer or Casey, I can't remember which one it was,
All
but
of them. No,
one of them mentioned that you want to have variation in your diet. So if you're on a diet and you're eating the same thing over and over again, not only is that not enjoyable, but you're not giving your body different ways to work around those different macros and different things you can eat and adjust to those different things, because that's good for your body over time. You don't want to just continue to eat the same thing over and over again. So yeah, that's huge, is having that variation in diet, because I mean that's part of life, is enjoying what we eat and the different things, the different
enjoying
tastes.
having new experiences, and then like they see, and I know a lot of people that eat a lot of the same thing. They're structured eaters. But what they have found out with them as well is a lot of times they're missing some key micronutrients just because they're not keeping all those. So there's some vitamins and minerals that they a lot of times are losing, even though they're eating really healthy. They might be eating vegetables and lean meats,
fiber or something like that.
Yeah, so they can be really high. But if all those foods, the 5 foods they choose, don't have this one vitamin, they could go into deficiency in that, where a lot of times when you eat a more variety diet,
that's right,
you're going to be able to get a little bit more of those micronutrients. They're still very difficult to get all. The RDA suggested 3,500 calories of basically your choose my plate to hit that. And most people, if they ate 3,500 calories, especially smaller women, they would gain quite a bit of weight. So it's hard to get all your micronutrients. So variety is a big part of that, actually. So, and
you're not gonna get it all in one day, but if you are eating variety, you're sure to get some one day and then some the next, and throughout the week you're gonna. It's
definitely a lot more beneficial to eat variety. I understand like some structure, and there's some things I eat all the time, but
you
can get burnt out on it as well, right?
Yeah, like me and my wife, we do meal prep every Sunday for most of the week, and we'll get our groceries for the weekend and have what we need to make meals throughout the week. But we don't want to eat the same thing every week. I mean, we eat pretty similar meals because we like lean greens, and we don't want to go too heavy on the bad stuff. But we switch it up with flavors and how we cook it and what we cook it with. So you have that variety still, and it's good for it. So
good. We have a lot of topics. What else is on there?
So as we think of, identifying as somebody who exercises, we often think of that as a good thing, which it is for the most part.
Yeah. But identifies that.
If you think about it, if you think of yourself as an exerciser, can it be a bad thing? And why can it be a bad thing? And I kind of touched on this earlier at the beginning. If we over-identify or spend too much energy or time on one role, then it can become a bad thing. So research has suggested that having a strong central exercise identity can be good because it pushes people to exercise and it promotes healthy behavior.
Right.
But it's also dangerous if it promotes dependency. So if people start depending on exercise, say they go a day without it and they just feel a complete loss, that's not a good sign. Or they exercise so much that it negatively impacts their other roles and their responsibilities in lives, and they can't take care of themselves, then that's a bad thing. So obviously, like we've said before, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. And we don't think about that through exercise. We think of exercise as, strictly good, but it can get to a point psychologically where dependency can be caused. And if that's all you're focusing on, then all your other roles in your life may suffer, and that balance suffers.
Your obsession. I don't think there's too many people out there that are obsessive exercisers, but it could, and I guess I could see that. You can see that in any role. Sorry, I see this with, you identify as a businessman, so you obsess and you constantly, all you do, obviously that's probably a big part of your life because it's demanding for that. But you could lose the exerciser role or the parent role because of those aspects. And same thing with exercise. It's one of those roles that you could get lost in and overdo. And then, you have to work out 7 days a week for 3 hours a day. And then all of a sudden you find yourself not wanting to do that anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the main thing for me is, like, passion is good, but if you're over passionate about it, then it'll lead to no passion at all. Because you're going to hit that burnout point and you're going to be like, okay, I was excited about this. I went hard for such a long time. Now it's getting old and I'm not feeling the same anymore. You kind of just burn yourself out, and then pretty soon that passion dies off. So having that balance will help enable that consistency or that enjoyment to prolong and sustain over time. And that's really what you want, is you don't want to stop enjoying it, because once you stop enjoying it, you're not going to want to do it anymore.
Yeah, and I think there's some ebb and flow in that. I think that's like a normal expectation to have times where you're kind of burnt out or you need some times out or you're not enjoying it as much. And I've literally known people, personal trainers, have like quit being personal trainers because they're like, to be honest with you, I don't enjoy exercise anymore, and I miss actually enjoying exercise. But yeah, I mean, so what are some things because we have some viewers out there and they're like, hold it, I'm kind of either burnt out, or I'm one of these people that like have to exercise nonstop, and that's my identity, and I'm scared to get burnout or it becomes something non-enjoyable. Do you have some strategies over there?
Yes,
You're gonna
I
make 'em
have
up.
lots of strategies
You got it.
actually.
Okay.
First of all, though,
I mean,
this is a great
30-minute
topic
show.
for right now because, after summertime, this time of year especially, going to the holidays, everybody's kind of hitting that wall.
Mm-hmm.
And so just slowing down, going hard over the summertime, weather's cooling down, less daylight, stuff like that. But yeah, perfect time of year for this conversation.
Yeah.
For things to practice for people with this, the first thing you want to do to promote a positive identity formation is to create and sustain more than one identity, obviously, like we talked about. So instead of, just focusing on one or two certain roles, have multiple roles that you play.
I have
each
multiple
day.
personalities. Is that the same thing?
It can be.
So multiple identities is different than multiple personalities, I guess.
It's a little different.
Okay.
But you can take multiple personalities into different scenarios in your life.
I guess that's true.
That being said, also recognize who you are without those activities. So if you were to like get injured or something and you couldn't play your sport or you couldn't do your exercise, understand who you are without that activity.
I think you see that for runners. I think they identify so much as runners.
As
I
yeah,
have people that are like that, and then they get injured, and it's just so
like
difficult for them. And they get told not to by their doctor.
Yeah.
And I never want that. I mean, I think people should do something they enjoy, try to find a way around it or somehow. But it can be extremely impactful for them to not be able to run like they do, and it's a sad thing. But you have to like figure out like, are you going to be okay with that?
Yeah,
that was to happen.
Extremely common in athletes because that's their life. That's their career. That's all they know. That's all they do. But it can be the same for people who exercise. Like we said, it can really have a huge impact on you. So just understanding that that's not the only thing in your life, and you have other areas that you need to focus on as well.
I feel like you're talking to me. I feel like I
identify,
but it is my, it's something that I am passionate about doing personally for myself, which was one of the things I loved about the job, is like, because I continue to develop at exercise, but because I have a personal interest where you might not have that at every other job. But like I said, I've had burnout, and I can easily see where it also sometimes is my identity. There's sometimes even like parts of it where, people have got me gifts or something like that. I'm like, is that all I am? Is it a guy that lifts weights? There's so many more levels. There's not really that many more levels, but I would like to think there is. I'm like an onion.
Yeah, exactly. Layers. Also, another strategy would be to make a schedule or a routine, especially for people who are in a hurry and don't know how to slow down or spread out their energy throughout the day or throughout their time. Having that routine or that schedule, things in their schedule on their calendar, will help them identify where they're spending all their energy and time and where they need to spend more energy and time.
Yeah, you can see that.
So you can actually visually see that on paper, and that helps a lot, having that visual reference for people. Also, trying to accomplish things quickly and overextending energy will just lead to stress, fatigue, and burnout, like we said. So just balancing it out so you expend a little time and energy in each of those roles each day. Or it doesn't have to be every role every day. You could just do a little bit here and there. Mm-hmm. But like I said, if you're exercising half your day and then half your other day you're too tired to do anything else, then you're really sacrificing a lot, and your balance is a little bit off there. So those are things you got to think about. Yes, you're doing healthy things, but too much of a good thing, like we said, can lead to suffering in other roles in our life and responsibilities. So having that balance is huge. And then lastly, individuals should develop and promote a healthy want to exercise mentality, not a have to approach.
Right. Yeah.
So
thought process.
Feeling obligated to do something, like we talked about, the restrictions or people telling us something we want to do, that decreases our intrinsic motivation, or doing it for the sheer pleasure and joy of doing something.
Because you want to.
Yeah. And when we want to do something, it's far more sustainable, and the journey is much more enjoyable if we are doing things we enjoy, if we are feeling good about the things we do
Yeah.
intrinsically, instead of just being told we have to do it like our doctor's telling us we have to
Extrinsically,
do
right?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
extrinsically.
which is a lot of people get involved in exercise that way, and it's not a bad thing.
It's not.
to get healthy because because your doctor says you need to lower your blood pressure.
That's what
It's
some
not a
people
bad-
need, that push.
But
yeah.
people that actually enjoy it, they have a lot higher adherence and typically don't have too much what we would call relapse, even though
Yeah.
it's kind of a big word to say quit exercising. But quit exercising and go back to a sedentary lifestyle is not very common for people that intrinsically like it, or at least completely.
Yeah. I mean, for beginners especially coming into it, that extrinsic motivation is going to be huge. You're going to have that external support from other people telling you, you can do it. You're doing a great job. Keep it going, you know? And then after a while, the more you do it, you start building that intrinsic motivation. You start feeling good, and you start doing it because you like the way it feels.
Yeah.
You like the results you get from it. You don't have to be told to do it, and you don't have that have to mentality. You feel like you want to do it, so you're going to do it.
Right.
You know,
I think that's good in everything. Like, I have to go to work tomorrow. I want to go to work
I want to go to work tomorrow. Yeah, or I have to go home and watch my kid. I want to go home and watch my kid.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
there are good things about that, and there's good and bad about everything. You just have to kind of point out or find the positives in things as you think about things like that.
Of course. Cool, man. That was good. I think we got a lot of. You guys are going to have
Good.
to rewind this back, take all those little tidbits in there, all those little nuggets, as we always said.
Yeah.
I remember always going to seminars and all those things, and Shannon would always tell me, or somebody would always say, you know, like find the nugget. So go back
Yeah.
through here, listen
those
to the thing,
golden
find the things
nuggets.
that speak to you that you can take away from these podcasts, and that's the idea behind most all these. They are educational, and I do like to have the fun and talk and hang out, but that's what we're trying to do, is just provide more help. From a lot of different aspects, and maybe aspects that people don't talk about. We can always talk about how to build the biggest Instagram booty, which might be a great topic, and people might want to know that. But these things sometimes are the difference makers. And knowing yourself is huge.
Yeah.
And I think we all probably need to be on a journey on that a little bit. I know I do.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. So
Mindset's huge in all these roles too. I mean, just
everything.
balance everything. So balance your life roles, slow down, and enjoy the journey.
That's it right there. That's it. They didn't even have to watch the podcast. They could have
That's
just
it.
got
That's
that.
it.
What was that
I just
again?
gave
Say one more time.
Balance life roles, slow down, and enjoy the journey.
Bam. Hashtag that. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy. We're in October 1st, so we got pumpkin spice and pumpkins and ghouls and all that stuff. So anyways, have a great one. Thank you so much, Caleb. Appreciate
Thanks.
you. And we're out. Thank you for listening to the Healthy Living Wichita podcast with Go Time Training. If you enjoyed today's show and want to get started with your own fitness journey, I'd love to help kickstart your goals. How do 4 60-minute personal training sessions for $99 with me sound? Head over to www.gotimetraining.com/podcast to claim yours. I can't wait to meet you.